Hello, everyone, and welcome to Insider Gaming Weekly, a video game podcast. I am, of course, one of Insider Gaming's senior editors, Mike Straw, joined, as always, by my co-senior editor, Grant Taylor Hill, not Greg, and the birthday boy himself, Insider Gaming senior producer, A to the P, Albert Perkins. Guys, it's another week. How you guys feeling?
Well, it wasn't a week for me, and I don't care. You guys can talk all you want about Nintendo. I'm out of the conversation this week. Man. No way, P's excited.
Man, we got a lot to talk about for sure whenever it comes to Nintendo, and it's a great day. It's my birthday, so I'm happy. At the time of recording, it's my birthday. At the time you guys are listening, it's the day after, but it's all good.
Every day is your birthday, if you want it to be. You could literally just celebrate it every day, and no one who doesn't know you will know the difference.
That's true. That's true. Could you live with that though? That's good.
100%. I could go to a restaurant every day and say it's my birthday and see if I can get free dessert and not feel guilty. With how much everything costs, I will do whatever I can to get discount. I'll say I'm 65 to get a senior discount if I have to.
That's fair.
It doesn't matter. But that's not the point of the show. We have a lot to get to today. We have Nintendo Switch 2. We have game pricing being ridiculous. We have Battlefield to talk about. We have a scoop on a game that has been pitched that I put up on social media for people to guess, and not a single person was able to guess it. But before we get into all of that, be sure you are subscribed to Insider Gaming Weekly wherever you get your favorite shows. Leave us a rating on Spotify and Apple Podcasts in order to help us grow. Subscribe to Insider Gaming on YouTube so you never miss any of the latest news, interviews, reviews, and more you need to know about. But we're going to kick off the show with what we do every week. And we're going to start with Grant because it's not like he's got a lot to say about Nintendo, but we'll give him the floor first for this. Grant, what have you been playing? What's new?
Well, nothing groundbreaking. Like what I've been playing that's like new is only new in the respect that it's had an update, and that's Black Ops 6, right? I've been playing the new Zombies map. I haven't yet got into Verdansk, which as we speak now went live like 4 hours ago. I'm yet to go in there, but you know, season 3 is here in the esports space. Major 3 is here. I've been enjoying Black Ops 6 recently. There's nothing but good things for me when we talk about Verdansk coming back. It was a beautiful time in my life when Verdansk dropped in the first place, and it was when I think I loved Call of Duty the most. So I'm very eager to get back in and see what it's all like. But I've also been playing, and again, because there's new stuff, Escape from Tarkov. So 10 years old now, or coming on 10 years old, but they're obviously always innovating in the game. They're always putting in new features, new events, new maps, modes, whatever. And they did an event recently called The Labyrinth. And it was one of these things where Battlestate likes to just drop things. And they say, here's a new event. We're not going to tell you anything about it. Just figure it out for yourselves, which is great. And they did it. And some of the creators that had turned off on Tarkov from like the last couple of months were like, this is probably one of the best events they've ever done. It's really cool. They added this like gnarly like underground map, and they beasted up a couple of the bosses in the game. And it's really, really intense, but it's really cool. And I like that kind of stuff because it keeps it fresh. And there are some more changes on the way too. So we covered them on insidergaming.com recently. Some big changes coming to Tarkov that I'm not going to go through now, but have a look because they're really, really cool. But that's been me for the last couple of days at least anyway.
AP, what about you?
Yeah, man. For me, I actually dove back into Mario Party Jamboree. I've been playing a lot of that recently because I wanted to unlock this new for me, board on the game. It was Bowser's board. Oh my God.
My son just unlocked that like a week ago and he loves it.
It's so epic. I mean, the success rate on that board, I mean, if you get more than like 2 stars, I feel like it's just pure luck because by the time you get to the end of the game, nearly every other space in the center of the board is a Bowser space because Bowser's just like throwing fireballs and turning regular spaces into Bowser spaces the entire time. It's insane. And so my wife and I played it. It was a lot of fun, although very, very frustrating, to say the least. So
my son finds Bowserception amazing when you're playing as Bowser and then Bowser attacks Bowser.
Oh yeah,
he thinks it's like an alternate universe Bowser thing, and it's hilarious to see. Grant, you talked about Tarkov, 10 years old, still not fully released.
It
What a
isn't, is
game.
it?
What a
But, you know,
game.
but it's not the only game to do that, to remain in early access for
No.
that long. But I
No.
think it's getting there. It's getting there, right? Like I do have faith that they're going to get to the 1.0 at some point, because I mean, the roadmaps that they put out, there's still a lot they can deliver, right? I am going to say that, like, I don't think it's going to come soon, because I think they still got legs in the early access thing. But, like, what I'm imagining is they're going to put it into 1.0 and just, like, abandon it and move on to something else, because there's been whispers of a new game there that was, it's like one of these, like, what's the word? Like an old wives' tale, like you know, like there's this mystery game that they're supposed to be moving on to after Tarkov, and the last 10 years are supposed to have been building. It's like Russia 2027. I don't know what it's called. It's something like that. You know, it's a rumored thing.
They
But,
already moved on. They now have Arena
well, Arena was a spin-off at best. You know, I didn't
before
like
finishing
that.
the game.
Yeah, but yeah, it's been a good 10 years, and but to give them credit, even though it's unfinished and it's riddled with cheaters, and it has so many like dubious, like borderline nefarious marketing and sales tactics, like with the whole $250 edition to get this and that and all these bonuses that you should have got anyway. Still the most popular extraction shooter in the world. Still, when it wipes, one of the most popular games on platforms like Twitch and YouTube. Like, you've got to give them credit for that, at least, you know.
The question is, are they paying how many people to play? I don't know. I'm not even.
They're not paying me.
No, they're not paying you. If they were, we'd know. No. I just couldn't get it. I think like I had a 2-year run where I was really heavy into it, and then I haven't touched it in almost a year.
Wow.
No, I love it.
I've had no interest. If I play an extraction shooter, I'll go into gray zone every now and then. But even then, I think I'm just kind of at this stage done with extraction shooters for the time being, because it's always just like every game we've talked about in the past. At some point, it's always just you deal with tryhards, you deal with the sweats, you deal with cheaters. It doesn't matter what game and how hard they try and combat it, which most do. You get one, and it just completely ruins any sort of joy.
Yeah. But I mean, Tarkov for me, you know, I know we'll move on after this, but the thing for me, I've been playing it now for coming on 5 years. Like, I absolutely love it, but I play exclusively PvE now because I have such bad Tarkov anxiety. I maintain it's a horror game. When you're walking down the street, mind your own business, and suddenly headshot, you're gone. You've lost everything. You're on the floor. You're completely out, you know? That scares the hell out of me. And I walk around in this constant state of anticipation, expecting those shots to come. And I'm wired when I play that game. So I had to go to PvE. And you know what? Still wired, still anxiety. How am I anxious at PvE? I don't know, but I am. I keep coming back for more. My heart can't take it.
Yeah, I hit the anxiety hits me the most when I was playing the PvP anxiety. And then, we'll move on, is whenever I'm searching or walking through like the offices in Factory and I'm going through that area, or when I'm going through the tunnels.
Yeah, man.
That
can't handle it.
Always gets me. Or when you're walking, you're just cruising, especially if you're like, I'm going to do a night raid. This will be fun. Let's go to Shoreline. Yeah. And then you just hear a scav yelling and you're just like, where? And then you say, pop, gone.
That's it.
Great. Thanks. Yeah. And it realized you happen to get one of those lucky runs where you find 2 Jeep graphics cards and, you know.
Yeah.
Or you find a labs key and you're just like, this is amazing.
Something magical.
Then, boom.
Highs and lows, man.
Yeah. That's a big I mean, a lot of reasons, but that's one of them. The anxiety I get, and then the PvE thing. I mean, they also put that behind. Though I haven't touched it. Maybe it's now available for regular players, but I'm pretty sure that's behind.
You can buy it. It's a paywall. It's a paywall.
Yeah, they paywall the gateway to make the game more enjoyable for everybody. Thanks, guys.
But Mike, what about you? What have you been playing?
A very bad game known as Game of Thrones Kingsroad.
Oh, no.
Excuse me. I spent a few days playing with that, put in, about 20 hours or so doing that for the review, like at night, and I regret all of it because you kind of had the feeling when they revealed it late last year, it was a mobile game. People worried about would it be on PC or console. They said, no, it's coming to PC. Then you play it, And right now it's an early access, and like you got to pay at least $25 to get it all the way up to $90, depending on the pack you want. And it is nothing more than just selling you microtransactions and boring gameplay with the Game of Thrones license. I don't know if there's been a series like you can Insider Gaming, link in the description. Insidergaming.com has the full review of issues I have with it, where some of the things are you go and use your weapons, and you ever get that feeling when you play a game where there feels like no weight behind anything you're doing, no matter what you do, feels like your character is just sliding around. It didn't matter what I was riding, a horse, running, walking, fighting, everything just felt like there's more weight behind like a pool noodle. And
Wow.
it was bad. The story isn't bad. The animations are terrible. You feel like when you're watching the cutscenes with the voiceovers, you feel like you're watching a 1970s kung fu movie because the voiceovers don't line up whatsoever. It's just
So, what time is it?
yeah, exactly. That's exactly how it feels. If you're not watching, go watch, because you'll understand. Just hearing that, I might date myself for like the younger audience on like old kung fu movies and stuff, but hopefully not. Hopefully they're the younger generation is watching those great classics. But
is
I
it like
played
the real
that.
actors and stuff though? Is it like the act is like Kit Harington is John and
No,
they're just complete? Is it like it's not AI? Is it?
I don't know. I hope not. But it's just not a good game. And I have friends and who are really into Game of Thrones, and they knew I was reviewing this, and like, you need to tell us like immediately whether we should buy this. Within five hours or so, I messaged them all. I'm like, nope.
Wow.
Nope. I don't care how much you love
How
Game of
does
Thrones.
this
There's a lot of
happen
people
though
like
when you get like a great franchise and it's licensed into a game or whatever? And like, look, what was the one with The Walking Dead where you could like alter the timeline and you could like change how certain situations and it was so bad, it's unbelievable.
Man,
That's
I
another
don't.
example.
it's like you have this great
Yeah, I don't get
concept.
how. I don't get with Game of Thrones and even The Walking Dead why these games are so poorly done. It feels nothing more than cash grabs and just to capitalize on the popularity of a license. Whereas like Game of Thrones, there's only been one solid like set of Game of Thrones games, and those were the Telltale ones.
Yes.
Every other Game of Thrones game has been critically panned, commercially bombed, and yet Warner Brothers, that's still the one franchise they want to throw all their money in. I don't want to get into Warner Brothers. We have a lot to get to. So let's move on to the news of the week, and we're gonna start with Grant's favorite topic, Nintendo.
Yeah, boy.
Love it. I'm so excited.
The Nintendo Switch 2 was fully revealed. If you missed, AP and I did a special mini episode on Wednesday, April 2nd, after the reveal. You can check that out. Link will be in the description. It's on YouTube, about all of our thoughts on the reveal. So we're not going to really fully dive into the specs of the console and things like that. This is more, we're going to talk about the reaction to the industry of the Switch 2. Like, we know the Switch, we got more stuff today before we recorded from NVIDIA saying things like the Switch 2 is 10 times more powerful in terms of graphics processing than the original. Believe it when I see it. Because, games like
16
Cyberpunk
times the detail.
yeah, games like Cyberpunk are still only going to run in performance mode when docked at a max of 40 frames per second. That doesn't scream to me 10 times the power. Because if I go that way, so you're saying hypothetically, the original Switch would run the game at 4? I don't like, so, PS4, Xbox One levels of bad when it launched. But you hear these things, but the big thing that everybody is standing to, and that's what we're going to start with, because it's the elephant in the room, is the pricing. The console itself, $450, just under what the PS5 and Series X launched at $500. There is going to be a bundle that comes with Mario Kart World that brings it to $500. I'm not too worried or upset about the price. Granted, if you lived in Japan, it equates to their Japan region lock console is only about $340 when it comes to currency exchange. So it might just be cheaper to load up Duolingo, become really proficient in Japanese, move to Japan and buy the console there. Still save yourself money when you look at the games, because games are now going to jump in some cases to 80 and potentially up to $90. Not every game, because Donkey Kong Bonanza is only going to be 70, but Mario Kart World is going to be at least 80. AP, I'm going to start this with you. Specific to the pricing of Nintendo games, how shocked or surprised were you at this part of the announcement, especially because they didn't announce it during the show?
Yeah, it was almost like they were like keeping it a secret, like, we'll just keep it on the down low so they don't know about it. They'll find out afterwards. It's like, bro, we're gonna find out, And when that information came out, man, the internet just absolutely exploded. I mean, I don't know, man. It's Mario Kart, right? And I'm not slighting Mario Kart in any sense of the imagination, because I love, just like anybody else, I love Mario Kart. But is it really worth $80? I don't know, man. That's tough. That's a lot of coin, man. And we were talking about it on the breakdown there on Wednesday. When we're talking about it, and about the fact that it's just seems like it's $20 more, but then, say you're buying a copy for, your daughter, your son. I mean, that adds up, man. That's $160. I mean, I don't know, man. It's to me, I don't dig it. I'm not down with it. It's not for that specific game, because there's going to be other publishers out there. And again, I talked about this on Wednesday. They're going to see this. Publishers like, maybe Take-Two. They're going to see this and they're going to be like, price in Mario Kart at $80. Maybe we should price Grand Theft Auto 6 at $100 and get away with it. And stay
$100 for GTA 6 and $199.99 for the GTA 6 Xbox 360 Throwback Edition.
That's it. Yep. But yeah, man, it's going to justify it, and this is industry changing to me. I don't know. I found it kind of shocking whenever that information broke, to be honest. I was absolutely shocked at that sticker. I was more shocked at that than the price of the actual Switch console itself.
Yeah, the Switch console, like I said, it doesn't bother me. I kind of expected, with all the talks, all the rumors led to it being a $400 to $450 console. So you kind of were able to prepare for it. It's the games you weren't. And this is Nintendo with their first party games, which notoriously never go on sale unless the games aren't selling.
Yeah.
So Mario Kart World will come out at $80. In 6 years, it will still be $80.
Man.
Which every other publisher, you don't see that. It's Nintendo, because they know, well, where else are you going to get it?
Yeah.
And not only that, it's like, you look at Nintendo's first party lineup for the Nintendo Switch 2, Mike, and there really aren't that many games either, and it's like, okay, you're obviously everybody who's getting a Switch 2 is probably going to start off with Mario Kart, for sure. But man, that's just so much money to shell out right from the start, man. It's like, holy cow. Yeah.
What's the baseline like, though? Because obviously I'm coming in as someone that's rarely... Okay, so I'll be honest. I do have a Nintendo Switch in the house. It's just not mine. It's my wife's. And the games that we've bought for it, I've bought for her and not me. So I've usually just bought, like, I don't know, just whatever. But how much was the original Switch when it launched? What are the games brand new?
300 when it launched in 2017. It was 300 for the Switch. Games were $60. The only game that wasn't Tears of the Kingdom launched at 70. Breath of the Wild, I believe, launched at 70 for the Switch version, not the Wii U version of Breath of the Wild.
No, okay.
But the console, so we're looking at $150 more for the console itself. Granted, with what is coming in the console, a bigger screen, 120 frames per second, 1080p handheld, bigger Joy-Con or mouse cons, as people are calling them, Joy-Cons, 4K docked, you know, these.
I mean, it's
certain
bigger
things,
overall as well. What's the difference in this? Because isn't it like 7.2 or something now over like 6 point whatever the
7.9,
old one?
I think, the screen size,
It's
right?
a 7.9
Bigger. It's a lot
screen.
bigger.
Yeah, while keeping the same general profile size of the original. So there's a lot of things to me that justify the console's price. Would I've liked to see it more at like 400, especially reports have come out that it costs roughly, when looking at just US dollars, it costs roughly 300 to 330 for them to produce the console. Don't know how like accurate or how like minute or close that is, but those are the latest rumblings. So a $400 price point would have made sense because they're not going to sell the Switch as at a loss. But what they're banking on is 100% going, I dare you not to buy it.
Yeah.
And for me, it's going, challenge accepted. Like, okay, the games, I have a Steam Deck and I have thousands of other games I can play for half the cost. Like Cyberpunk is coming for Switch 2, $70. If it's been out for years, chances are you've already played Cyberpunk. And the people that are really into it might have already played it on the Steam Deck.
Yeah,
that's true. That's true.
Sure, Elden Ring gets to be put on there. Okay, Elden Ring on the Steam Deck. Your cost benefit wise, it's more affordable and you get more to just buy a Steam Deck and then buy games for that. You don't get the first party Nintendo games, fine, but you get a ton more. And the amount of, and this is coming from somebody who has grown up loving Nintendo my whole life. I have damn posters of their consoles. My favorite franchises of all time is hanging on the wall and tattooed on my skin. Like, I love Nintendo games. This has turned me off in such a way that I don't know when I'll get back. I have to fight the FOMO of not getting a Switch 2 at launch. Because the idea of the game prices itself is just, it's going to eat at me. No game, I don't care what game it is. I don't care. No game is worth $80, $90, $100. Like Mario Kart World converts, when you look at the currency conversion rate for a physical edition of Mario Kart World in Spain, it's $99.
Oh my God.
What?
I mean,
what?
Wow.
In a way, it's build it and they'll come, right? Like they know people are going to buy it, and someone had to be first to raise the price on things like this. And I think you get the people like Nintendo, like you're the embodiment, the testament to it, right? There's a solid, strong fan base. Nintendo has such a massive, monumental fan base. They're gonna sell. I mean, people will pay. They could, like with GTA 6, they could put it to $100. People are gonna pay $100. Like the most ridiculous one we were just talking about. We're talking about Escape from Tarkov. I paid $250 for that edition for a game that I already had, just because I was like, oh, cool, you get some extra features. If people like it, they'll buy it. And I think like
that's true.
It's like it's biting a bullet because something had to give. Something had to give. Someone had to be first to do it, and why not do it for an entirely new generation of a console?
I'm just shocked that it was Nintendo that was the ones that did.
Well,
it.
we said about their prices, like those guys don't budge. Like this is one of the things that puts me off. Like I, you know what? We'll admit some deep dark secrets right now. I would quite like to play a Pokemon game and see what the fuss is about. I would quite like to play like a Legend of Zelda game. But even now, like you said, Mike, it's years after launch. They're still like premium prices. And I'm like, I don't want to pay like £50 or whatever. Pounds, £50, Great British pounds, to like maybe try out a game that I might not even like, you know?
What I hate is like you brought it, and you're not the only one who says this. So this isn't me like saying, why the hell are you saying it? Like someone's going to do it.
Yeah.
I hate that is an argument I am seeing from everywhere. If not Nintendo, well, it's going to be someone else. There's no reason it has to be any of them. Like everybody's like, well, games have been so cheap for so long. They have they been cheap? No, money is going a lot. Like people say adjusted for inflation. Sure, that's one thing. But at the same time, the dollar and everybody's money is going less and less than what it did, which means absolutely like, okay, so now it's going to be even more affordable. Like a $60 game today is not the same as a $60 game, say in 2010, where current money was rebounding, or a $60 game in the 90s where your money went further. Your money isn't going as far now. People are going to heavily decide at this point cost of living versus buying a game. There were people that, with a $60 game, you could say, all right, I could buy maybe 3 to 4 games per year. Premium $60 releases. Going to 80 or more, you're going, I can maybe buy 1 or 2. And Nintendo knows this. Nintendo is banking on the people who don't buy the game is going to be offset by the people who do with that price difference. But I don't, and I know this is a very small microcosm of all the people who were on the stream today just spamming drop the price on their Nintendo Treehouse live streams. But part of me believes, especially with a console targeting and a company that has notoriously targeted families, this is going to backfire on them, because you're no longer going to get that family console with the Switch 2, or you're no longer going to sell multiple versions. There's no way you're going to sell multiple versions of it with multiple copies of a game to the same family. At most, you might get one version, one console, and one copy of a game.
Yeah, I could definitely see that goes to my point that I was talking about before about how, who's going to buy Mario Kart at $80 and then buy it again for their daughter at $80 and buy it again for their son's Switch for $80. That's $240 right there, bro. Yeah, I'm with you, Mike. Yep.
I mean, you're looking at $1,000 just about to buy the Switch 2. Mario Kart, granted, the bundle makes the game $50. Okay. So the Switch 2 in the bundle, if you want a Pro controller and an extra set of Joy-Cons, you're looking at almost $1,000. And I mean, that's if you go to places like in Canada, the console's $600, and it depends on your region, obviously.
Yeah.
But I don't know, and I kind of have a feeling Nintendo, as stubborn as they are, there's a part of me that goes, they're going to start with these higher price games, and then in a year they're going to release like a new 3D Mario or something, and it's going to be back. It'll probably be $70. I think people have accepted 70. It's the jump to 80. It's, $80 for a version of Mario Party Jamboree. If on the Switch 2, okay, it's that's really eating at people. But there is one thing that Nintendo is doing that I'm actually really happy about, in a way. The way they're handling scalper prevention, at least directly if you're buying them through Nintendo, they're making sure you have a Nintendo Switch Online plus expansion pack membership, so $50 a year, that you've had it continuously for 2 years, and that you've regularly played the console. And then they're giving priority to pre-order. I like that to prevent scalpers. Obviously, not every retailer is going to do that because that's limiting. And it also limits the people who don't have Switch Online, like people who have the console for their kids. They don't need Switch Online. But I like that it seems Nintendo's at least trying to maybe start the process for other companies to follow suit in this way, to prevent the scalpers who are going to buy a console that reportedly will not have a lot of... They might not have enough stock despite having more production, stop them from being sold on eBay the day of for 4 or 5 times what they're costing.
Was that confirmed? Is that a confirmed thing, the whole production line thing? Because we covered a story a couple of months back. They were talking about them being able to support 20 million sales in the first year.
They were talking about it, but then Tom's exclusive report last week suggested that many retailers don't believe they'll have enough stock.
Oh, okay. Damn. And if taking that, what you said there about the whole non-scalper thing, that's great. But yeah, that locks me out of buying from Nintendo, pre-ordering from Nintendo, because I don't have that. And I'm as legitimate as they come. I love me some Nintendo, but I can't do it for those guys. Because I am going to get one. I'm gonna buy one because you have to, right? Like you're saying, maybe it's a little bit of FOMO. I see this nice shiny new thing, and I'm like, yeah, I want that if everyone else is getting it.
True.
but now I know I can't get it from Nintendo because I don't have 50 total hours. Sounds
Yeah.
bad. I don't have 50 hours. You know.
Yeah.
But there are other retailers. I mean,
Yeah,
there's
of
always
course,
Best
of
Buy,
course.
there's Game, there was GameSpot, GameSpot. There's GameStop,
mix 'em up
there's
too.
all these other
Yeah.
places. And one thing that I do like, and I might not even buy the console, but I might still go, is a lot of stores are going to be doing midnight releases for
That's
this.
a blast from the past.
Mhm.
And I want to relive some sort of nostalgia with that.
I love that.
And I might have to just go to a Best Buy for midnight release on June 5th. I was talking to Albert though. The one thing that stops me, like if they said it's coming out June 4th, I might have been more inclined to give into my FOMO and go, I need this, because then I'd have something to, play on my flight to LA on the 5th.
Yeah,
But
boy.
it coming out the day, leaving for LA, I'm like, Steam Deck it is.
Yep. I love the idea of bringing back the midnight releases. Hopefully this will kind of start that trend of bringing them back, That was so fun back in the day, man.
I would like that, but highly doubtful if physical game prices are going to jump up to be more expensive
This is
than regular.
true too.
This
Yes.
is just gonna, to me, this is just gonna weed them out.
Mhm.
So we'll have physical releases, maybe or midnight releases for consoles, because you kind of can't do a digital only console. I mean, you can. Xbox is trying it with everything's an Xbox,
Yes.
but when it comes to actual consoles, it's not like you can do that. But we need to move on to the next. We're gonna throw Grant a bone here and leave the world of Nintendo. I know everybody listening going, no, we need more. Don't worry, there's plenty of more Nintendo coverage at insidergaming.com and through the Insider Gaming newsletter, insidergaming.com/subscribe. Join the 50,000 plus strong who sign up to receive our weekly newsletter every Tuesday with exclusives, columns, the latest game releases, a recap of everything you need to know, the top esports news of the week, and more. Go check that out again, insidergaming.com/subscribe. Battlefield time. New leaks.
Dun.
We have covered
We need it.
We have covered Battlefield a lot. Tom has had numerous exclusives about the playtests, the exclusive of a battle royal mode coming to the next Battlefield, and now we have leaks from a number of different data miners regarding that battle royal game. Last week, over 20 concept art images of Battlefield 6 leaked because of data miners, and now we have a bit more on this new game mode that is in development by Ripple Effect, one of the 4 studios under the Battlefield Studios development. And reading it and learning about it, there's nothing too surprising. It seems to be a run-of-the-mill battle royal that everybody is chasing right now. At least that's how I take it. Grant, could you kind of read into it, or did you read something more?
I mean, it's not the first time they've done it, is it? Like, well, in a way it is, right? So they did Battlefield 5 Firestorm came out, and it was a cookie cutter, not extraction shooter. I've got them on the brain. It was a cookie cutter battle royale where you had the closing circle of fire, and they did it as typical as everyone else was doing at the time. And that died a death, and that really went nowhere. They tried to toy with something in Hazard Zone that was kind of a mix between a battle royale extraction shooter kind of thing in 2042. Didn't really go anywhere. But now it looks like they're trying to do something different by making it. I don't know how it will work, but the data miner uncovered like a free-to-play component, suggesting that it might be a standalone thing that you can access without having to buy the premium game, a la Call of Duty Warzone Modern Warfare 2019. Which was gangbusters for Activision, right? But we've said time and again why that was so successful, because of COVID and because everyone wanted to be around to play it, and it being Call of Duty for a start. I'm expecting great things from Battlefield. Battlefield 6, whatever we're going to call it. I'm expecting really great things. The play test, everything that we've seen being like leaked out, acting like it's not some like guerrilla marketing stuff. It looks good. It looks right up my alley, because this is what I've been hurting for from a Battlefield, is a return to like Battlefield 4, Battlefield 3, that kind of era and setting and vibe and aesthetic, and that's coming back. But the whole battle royale piece, I think it's a hit and a miss, man. hit and a miss. That's not the saying, is it? Shot and a miss. I don't know. Whatever it is, I think they're going to put their resources into it and flesh it out and build it out. But I don't think it's really going to go anywhere because the battle royale genre right now is so like locked down to like 3 or 4 games that any that come up and try to make a name for themselves, it doesn't happen. Like it's like, what is it? Like Fortnite, PUBG, Apex, and Warzone. I guess that's probably like the big 4. What else they've come and gone. Other battle royales have come and gone. So I don't think Battlefield would be any different.
Yeah, everyone tries to scale that mountain, man, and they can't make it.
Yeah.
Yep.
I kind of feel the same way, that it's just, we knew it was going to be free to play. That was part of Tom's exclusive report. I think we're going on, well over a year. Yeah. We're well over a year since Tom had that report at Insider Gaming on the free to play Battlefield. And it was mentioned in the data mine that it's, quote, a free to play component. The Battlefield Battle Royale lead is apparently, or idea was created or thought up of implementing by Byron Beatty, who is the senior vice president and general manager of Battlefield over at EA. And for those that don't know who he is, he was an executive who used to do live service and manage the live service component for Warzone and Call of Duty in general. So where it seems to be is that we're going to see, this is just going to be their answer to Warzone. It's going to be mostly free to play. You don't need Battlefield to actually play it. They'll probably have some sort of hub, kind of like Call of Duty has. And then you'll have your free to play and then your premium battle passes and all that. It just seems like we talk constantly about chasing trends, and Battlefield's chasing a trend that, like you said, Grant, kind of feels, everybody's got their piece of the pie already and there's no room for the crumbs.
And they said years ago, but not years ago, that might be, a bit of a leap. They said a while ago that it's a complete reimagination of the entire franchise is the next Battlefield game. And if a reimagination of the entire franchise is just leaping back to what was most popular back in the, the 2011 to 2013 kind of days, and pulling in something that's basically run its course. I don't know how far that reimagination is really going to be carried out, because I'll play it because I love Battlefield so much, and I'm really hoping this is going to be the one, because I've been cold on Battlefield for years now and it hurts my soul, man. But I'll give it a go. I liked Firestorm. I just thought it was too much of the same stuff. So if this Byron guy has come in and he's like bringing over all of his ideas that stood up Warzone or whatever, or stood up the live service and the whatever operating model they had on Warzone, and if it like replicates it a bit too much and it just looks like rote copying, someone else's homework, you copy it off, and it's like, well, it's that, but with a bit of destruction, some tanks, it's like, wait, it'll die off pretty quick. It'll be a gimmick before too long.
What I think is they better hope it hits, because if it doesn't, and there's any sort of issues or problems with the campaign,
the Firestorm,
or the regular multiplayer, everybody's going to point to that and say, you spent all this time, effort, and resources on that mess instead of making sure the key parts of your game that people really wanted are what they should be and working fine. So for their sake, they better hope this works. Because I'm hopeful, cautiously optimistic about Battlefield 6 or whatever they decide to call it. But I'm also in the back of my head going that this is it. This is it. If Battlefield bombs again or launches poorly again, and we just saw it with Ubisoft where we kind of felt, Shadows was it, though, with everything that's happened there. It's kind of makes me think like Shadows had nothing to do with it. They already had this plan in place. But it makes me feel like this might be it, at least for the team running Battlefield. Like, this might be their last shot to where it doesn't work. They blow it up and start literally from scratch with new team, new management, new everything.
Yeah.
Because, they're not going to let the series die. It makes too much money for them, EA.
Right.
Especially when the entire engine they have, the Frostbite engine, was built for Battlefield.
Correct.
Like, and then expanded. They're not going to let that die, but it feels like we're at the end of chances to make it right, and they better hope this hits. They better hope it hits. It needs to hit harder than the Oblivion game coming out.
Yeah.
Well, the one that's coming out yesterday.
Yesterday.
If they're listening.
Yesterday, if they're listening. Today, if we're recording. Tomorrow, every day until it comes out.
Yeah, man.
Still waiting for that. That's just what I want to play. That's what I want to play.
You know what the annoying thing is? My wife came in and she was like, "So when's Oblivion coming out today?" And I was just like, "Ooh." She loves it. She's an absolute mad fan of the Elder Scrolls. She plays Elder Scrolls Online all the time, and she's a diehard fan for Skyrim and Oblivion. And I never played Oblivion past like getting out of the little dungeon bit and running around. And because I went to Skyrim and then tried to go back, and that rarely works with video games.
Mm-hmm.
But everything that was touted for the remake for Oblivion, like the Unreal 5, the tweaked combat mechanics and the stealth mechanics and modernize this and that, like I'd play the hell out of that. It's just a shame it's like maybe not even real. It's real somewhere.
It's real. We know it's coming.
Somewhere,
it's
yeah.
just not out yet as we're recording this.
Yes,
like we know there's too much smoke for there not to be fire with this.
Yes.
There's just way too much.
Mm-hmm.
So we know it's coming. It's just currently, the rumors are going to keep running wild, and speculation and inside news. And that's where we're at. Speaking of inside news, what a segue I had right there.
That's well done, Mike.
It's time. Thank you. It's time, as always, once again, whatever you want to say, to bring in the Gong Lord of Insider Gaming to Insider Gaming Weekly, the one, the only, Tom Henderson. Why did I say it like that? I don't know. I'm losing it today. Tom, how are you?
Henderson.
Man. Let's not do that again. Yeah, I'm doing good, man. Yeah, I'm doing good. It's been a busy week. Been an exciting week as well. Just operationally from a business point of view and hype wise from the gaming point of view. I don't know, it's just been a good week. It's been a busy week, but it's been a good week.
I think it's been fun. It's been one of the more fun weeks. Very hectic. Very hectic. I think on the day of the Switch reveal, we published nearly 50 stories.
Yeah,
Wild,
that is
bro.
insane, right? Like, especially when there's only 6 of us.
Yeah,
Writing, it's insane, and probably a good 40 of those 50 articles was done in the space of 3 hours or something like that. So, yeah, big congrats to the team. We absolutely smashed it, and hopefully we get a few more good days like that in the future.
So, Tom, you obviously you heard our talk about Battlefield Battle Royale. What are your thoughts on it? And do you think this has really, like, in your opinion, I'm not asking you like insider information that you know, just your thoughts. Does this have even a shot of succeeding right now, the way at least EA might want it or need it to?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I'm of the same mind as Grant. Like, I just think that they're just going down the route of replicating previous success, and now the battle royale train has gone, right. Like, that left the station a couple of years ago. Whether or not it's going to come back around or not, I'm not sure, but I'm just of the mind that it's probably not going to do the numbers that they want it to. I think the overall sentiment and direction of it is that they are just going to try and replicate the whole Warzone being free to play and tying that in some ways with the premium release of multiplayer, so like cross progression and cross customization and all of that stuff, and try and get people to purchase, like, assuming there's going to be battle passes and that kind of thing, do it that way. But yeah, I just think that sale has gone a long time ago. But yeah, who knows? I am hyped for the next Battlefield. I've got to be a little bit careful of what I say. Like, there's this famous tweet of mine saying Battlefield 2042 is gonna fucking dominate Call of Duty. And yeah, that one. I'm still sent that to this very day, so I'm being very careful of what I say. But I am hyped for it. the direction that they're going in seems to be a fairly positive one, going back to the roots and 64 players, all out destruction,
Hell yeah.
tank warfare, helicopters, jets, all of that just ticks all of the boxes for me personally.
Yeah.
And it's just whether or not they can pull it off, right? Like I know, Mike, you mentioned like they need to refresh with a new team and stuff. This new Battlefield is pretty much like 95% a new team as it is. New leadership, new team altogether, pretty much. So, yeah, it's interesting times. And when I say that, I don't mean that in a good or bad way, right? Like, but it seems like from pen on paper, they're trying the best, and they need this one to succeed.
I mean, you know what I want to see in it, though? You know what I want to see? The freaking... We talk about ticking boxes. One of the things I love so much, Battlefield 5, fortifications, right? When you take over an objective, maybe you're playing Conquest, and then you can get out your little handy hammer, and you can go and put out tank traps. You can build up like sandbag walls. You can board up windows, dig trenches, and I love that. I would literally capture an objective. I'd play support so that I got extra XP for doing it. Take an objective, build all the defenses, even though they were static and they were the same every time. I absolutely loved it because it made it like you felt like you were actually trying to defend the objective by like building up all these like support stations and stuff. And that hasn't been replicated, obviously, in 2042, and I doubt will be replicated in whatever the next one's going to be called. But I would love to see that come back.
Yeah.
Like, you take an objective in Conquest, and then you make it yours. You build up turrets and defenses and stuff. Man, they need that back.
Yeah,
If you like that, I got the game for you. It's called Squad.
See, no, I tried to play Squad on their free. They had a free weekend a while back, and I tried to play it, and I don't think I got on with it too well. I think I found it too hard.
It's very slow pacing.
Yeah. I want more arcadey. That's why I stick to stuff like COD these days.
Yeah.
So you just want bad.
Yeah. I want to be punished.
But yeah, it seems like Battlefield this time around is just doing what everyone seems to be doing and trying to rely too much on nostalgia, in my opinion. Whether or not it'll pay off, we'll just have to see, right?
Yeah.
That's it.
When it comes to like, you know, the free to play model for Battlefield, I want to know like how is it going to compare, I guess, with like Warzone, right? Because you look at Call of Duty. I mean, you know, granted, whenever you play multiplayer, by and large, you know, it kind of feels a little arcade. You know, you look at games like Battlefield, it feels a lot more realistic, right? I'm kind of curious how that's gonna, I guess, contrast between the two. Whenever
that's what I'm saying. Like, is this Byron guy going to bring over some of those more arcadey Warzone vibes? Because Warzone even more so, because like you've got like the armor plates and the fact that you can soak up multiple magazines before you succumb. You know, it's way more arcadey.
I think a lot of that has been found in the files, if I'm not mistaken, like armor plates and stuff like that. And Battlefield, in my opinion, traditionally has a longer time to kill than Call of Duty. But apart from like that, like what else can they do to set it apart? I mean, it's hard to think like, it's just like you said, Grant. It's just Warzone with destruction. It's like okay, cool. Like I'll play a game or two, and then I'd probably rather just go back to multiplayer.
Because does when you think of, obviously, this is probably why Firestorm. That's probably why that flopped, because you don't think Battlefield and think Battle Royale. Like, it just doesn't seem like the kind of game that just works with that genre. Doesn't seem like that kind of franchise. It's like big war battles, tanks, jets, like you're saying. Like, doesn't work in a Battle Royale.
I think a lot of people think Firestorm failed because it was connected to the premium game, right?
Probably.
It wasn't free to play or anything like that. And now the same thing with Hazard Zone in 2042. It was attached to the premium game, and now they're probably going down the direction of, right, let's do it free to play and see how it turns out. And it's an interesting experiment, and of course I do hope that it does absolute bits and does numbers, but it's all going to depend on when it releases as well, right? Like, we've had this conversation time and time again with GTA 6. Notoriously, EA killed killed Titanfall 2 by releasing it alongside Battlefield 1 and was it Infinite Warfare? I think it was those two, right? And it released like smack bang in the middle in a week window, and it was like, well, obviously it's not going to do well. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. But I guess that segues us over nicely to the next rumor of an EA game.
Yeah, speaking of EA, the rumor, and we didn't cover it in Insider Gaming because it's just too
weird.
Too weird, maybe pie in the sky. Titanfall 3 will rumored, again, it comes from 2 Apex Legend leakers who, one, when they tweeted it out, said Happy April Fool's Day at the very end of the tweet, which would be a perfect day to actually announce something legitimate and no one believe you in this case. But Titanfall 3 rumored will be announced later this year, possibly at the Game Awards or around the Game Awards, and a release next year from Respawn. I refuse to let myself get hopeful.
Yeah.
I want it. I want it more than anything. I love the Titanfall games. I refuse to let myself get excited.
Yeah, it's an interesting one because I feel like the leakers are saying it's going to release in 26, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which means that it's probably been in development for 1.5 to 2.5 years if we take the 4-year development timeline for a lot of these games. I feel like something that big would have leaked by some far more reputable people by this point. And that's nothing against the 2 original leakers. Like granted, I'm not entirely sure how big and successful they are in terms of accurate information. I believe one of them might be a data miner, and traditionally data miner leakers are pretty accurate because it's in the game files. So I'm not sure if they would have access to such information. But Titanfall 3 has already been cancelled twice. One of the times it was cancelled simply because it was too familiar to Titanfall 2, believe it or not, which is just crazy to think of. So it's a tough one. Obviously, never say never with these things, but I just feel like someone more reputable would have come out and said that they've heard similar or at least corroborated it in some way. Because it's a massive story as well, right? Like it's no doubt that it was gonna do absolute bits in terms of views and stuff like that. And I just feel like a reputable journalist would have at least tried to pursue that story, and if there's something tangible there, they would have reported on it. Who knows? Maybe by the time this comes out, somebody has, and we've covered it on the website. But we'll have to see.
Would that be? Who would that someone be?
I don't know, man. Hated by many, loved by few.
Oh, so everybody who leaks.
Yes.
That narrows it down to no one. Hated by many fans. Actually, hated by many studios, loved by even fewer. No.
Yes, yeah. But yeah, I had great memories of Titanfall 1 and 2, and fingers crossed that they are. It just seems like too much of a win as well, right, to not do it. So I'm surprised it got pushed back on twice already. But maybe they're just in a position now because Respawn they had the Mandalorian game that got cancelled last year. They had another FPS that got cancelled. I think it was last month, right? An unannounced game. So it just feels like they need a win, a bigger win. Obviously, they're going to do another Jedi game, but yeah, it just feels like they need something more now because Apex Legends is unfortunately starting to see a decline.
Yeah, the Apex Legends. I mean, they're working on whatever this major update that wasn't going to be Apex 2.0, but now they're saying it's going to be Apex 2.0. So I feel like even internally they don't have their messaging or plans fully set. So maybe it is, and maybe we're less than a week away from getting everything. It's like, oh, by the way, Titanfall 3 will be released on the PS6, which launches in April of 2026. Not happening, but I could see it when this kind of being that little thing that kind of pokes a hole in the dam,
Mhm.
and then you just see this giant burst of information come sooner rather than later.
Yeah, Apex Legends 2.0 with Titans would be awesome. And
Maybe
then they
that's
could,
what it is.
yeah, and then they could easily like it would just be like Call of Duty and Warzone, right? With the free to play model and a premium title, you could get Titans and then purchase them over in Titanfall free, and I don't know. There's loads of cool stuff they could do, but yeah, I'm hoping that it's true. I'm just at the moment a little bit skeptical.
Yeah, this is one where I try to take everybody with the or give everybody the benefit of the doubt when they leak things or they claim things and stuff. This is one where I refuse. I refuse. It's kind of like EA releasing a good sports game in the current, in the 2020s. I refuse to believe it'll happen.
That'll never happen.
Not anytime soon. Another rumor, and this is I'm not even going to say it's a rumor. This is a report from me. Not even going to call it a rumor right now because I've been able to talk with multiple sources. And there's a game, I posted it online that I was going to drop this scoop in the podcast, and I gave people chances, and I knew no one would guess what it is, and no one did. But we all know that Eidos Montreal, I butcher that pronunciation every single time I say
Is
it.
it Eidos? Is it Eidos? I think I said.
I thought it was Eidos.
I think
Eidos.
it's Eidos. It might be. I think it's
I
Eidos.
butchered it the other day.
Didn't they used to have the intro? It would say the name of the game
Maybe, but I don't
of the
pay
studios. Where
attention.
it's like Eidos. I'm sure
Maybe.
it rings a bell from like PS1 days. You know.
Yeah.
The only
Was that your advert voice? Eidos.
Terms and conditions apply. Yeah.
The only game intros I remember are the old EA ones with the EA games. Challenge everything.
Oh man, that one was
That.
an absolute boss. Yeah, it takes back to Medal of Honor days.
But Eidos Montreal, we recently laid off 75 people. I'm actually working on a story behind that and what led to those layoffs, hopefully early next week or so. If you're listening after the show airs, it might be live if you're listening to this on Monday or Tuesday. But one thing I found out in my talks is that a game that had been canceled by Embracer over a year ago was being pitched again. And that is a Deus Ex game. They were working on a Deus Ex game for a few years. Embracer canceled it as part of their restructuring. What they decided to do is, rather than lose the franchise entirely, they had started pitching it to external partners to try and find another publisher to see if anybody's willing to take on a Deus Ex game. And given one of the things that I was told was, quote, given the current state of the market, no one was willing to take on the financial risk of Deus Ex at this point. One even said that they viewed the series right now as, quote, too niche of a franchise to do anything with. And then when I did more asking and talked to a few more people, I was asking just like, who have they talked to? And the quote I got was, they've already spoken to just about anyone in the market who would even listen about a game pitch.
Wow.
And that there's probably not anyone left to pitch to at this point.
That's nuts.
So no one as of now has picked up on it, has said, let's bring it back. And Eidos Montreal they're still working on Fable with Playground Games, and I know they were doing work on OD with Kojima. I don't know if they're still working alongside Kojima with that, or if their work on that has been done. That's part of the story. But yeah, the Deus Ex, they want to bring back. Personally, I would love to see it brought back. I didn't like when I heard like some studios are thinking or publishers think it's too niche, because I don't know if it is.
I was just going to say the issue is at the moment. I mean, this was one of the key takeaways a lot of people walked away with from GDC, is that asking a publisher now for let's just say $10 million, right, is like asking a publisher 3 years ago for $100 million. Like,
Yeah, I don't know if this would be a remake. I think this would be an all new game, separate from what was canceled by Embracer. But yeah, the idea, everybody's focusing on remakes because ultimately, too, remasters and remakes are a lot cheaper to develop. And they're more of, I don't want to say they're more of a sure thing, but they feel like studios might think they're more of a sure thing because we've hit that stage where larger games are less focused on innovation and trying something than, say, the indie games that come from 10, 15 developers that can get something out. And even then, we're starting to hit that. We're hitting a weird stage where I can't imagine how many other games are being pitched right now that developers think these would do really well, and then, like you said, publishers are like, we won't even give you a check for $10 right now.
Yeah, it's interesting times. It's going to be even more interesting heading into the next generation of consoles. Because this generation, I think it's on par in terms of especially the PS5 is now on par with the PS4, right? In terms of the timeline and how many units have been sold and whatnot. But yeah, next generation, man, and the cost of these games to be developed, it just like, are we just next generation? Is it just going to be remakes and remasters, or with one or two
much lower risk
big AAAs? Yeah. I don't know. It seems like, especially now, I know you guys touched on it earlier in the podcast, but now we are getting into this $80 game territory, and who knows, right? Like maybe GTA 6 does release at $100. Like, I doubt it, but if it did, that sets another precedent where publishers are now probably going, let's raise the prices of them to $100 now, and then maybe Nintendo turns out as like the good good publisher, right? Where it's like, ours is only 80. But
we only took one arm, not both.
Yeah. But I don't know, man. It's just really, really interesting times, and I don't want to get into politics too much and stuff. And now with these new tariffs coming out in America, that even makes things worse, right? Like, I'm not going to get too much into it, but there's already a lot of talk behind the scenes of, like, obviously Nintendo probably hikes the price of the Switch 2 to kind of get ahead of that curveball. But now when they're producing the consoles in Vietnam, which now has a higher tariff than China, where they was manufacturing them previously, it's like, I don't know, it's just, there's so many cards being played right now. And I think there was a recent interview with someone at the ESA that said that this is definitely going to have a massive impact on the industry, on the video game industry, in particular. So we're heading into some really interesting times, but
yeah, that's one way to put it.
Yeah,
interesting. That's definitely one way to.
I said we're not going to get political.
I'm talking about the. I'm not doing it. I'm talking about the games. I'm talking about the games and consoles. And now that I think about it, and I want everybody's opinion on this, because this is me thinking about the $100, Grand Theft Auto. That's why, here's my tinfoil hat time. That's why they're not releasing it on PC at launch. Has nothing to do with they didn't with GTA 5 and they'll do it a year later to try and double dip. It's the fact they know they release $100 game on PC at launch within, I mean, it was probably going to be quick anyway, but within 24 hours, it's cracked and available online somewhere.
That's true. Yep.
And it's a lot harder, almost not impossible, but almost impossible to pirate a console game, a PS5, than the people who are going to try and do it for a PC game. Like it's a lot easier for them to do that for a Steam game or a PC game. So that could be a big reason why. This is again tinfoil hat conspiracy, but it wouldn't surprise me. Nothing surprises me anymore with how the industry is and the decisions being made behind it.
Yeah, the regardless, even with Nintendo doing what they've done, the next holiday period has got a lot more expensive for everyone who's a gamer. You know, I'm already hearing boardrooms are full of people saying let's jack our prices up. So I've got a feeling all of the next quarterly earnings calls for all of these publishers, all the investors are going to be asking is, are the prices going up? And it's going to be a very interesting next couple of months.
We're always evaluating the market, and we'll make the best decisions that determine the future of our company.
Wow, that was a very good Andrew Wilson voice.
Here's $100 microtransaction.
Oh,
Do you
man.
want this Ninja Turtle skin?
Crazy times.
This is
Crazy.
where I'm at. Tom, is there anything coming up that everybody should know about? Anything you're working on? Anything you wanna tease the people about?
Nothing in particular at the moment. I know it's becoming like a recurring segment at the moment, this Rainbow Six game. Still working on that. People don't realize that these stories take months sometimes, right? You've got to make sure that the information is correct, and I'm still trying to do that. So if anyone does know something about said game, then shoot me an email and we'll have a chat. But yeah, apart from that, nothing in particular. Of course, I'll dive into the Titanfall free stuff and see if we can get some corroboration there and do an actual report rather than a tweet. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
What about, there's a game that we always ask about. Oh wait, we talked about it today.
Yes.
We don't have to ask about Battlefield.
Yes.
Fine, I'll ask about a different game. What's going on with Splinter Cell remake, man? No.
Oh, that's like a lot of people think that's like canned or something, right? But that's trucking along nicely. But there is this weird situation now where we just do not know what's happening with Ubisoft.
With the whole Tencent thing. Yeah.
They don't even know what's going on. Like it's just
Yeah.
Oh, God.
It's madness.
Reading that email, reading the memo that you had posted at insidergaming.com, where it's like the plan that Ubisoft has, and to see that they had nothing. They're like, we don't know.
It's crazy, right?
I've never seen, and apparently, according to some people on social media, we're just Ubisoft shills because of one story talking about the successful launch of Shadows. We're big Ubisoft shills over here, but I feel like we have a better idea of what we're doing with the future of our coverage than Ubisoft does as a company on anything. Like, it wouldn't surprise me if tomorrow something else breaks and Ubisoft announces, yeah, we're filing for bankruptcy, and this new entity will be all that's left standing. Like, that's where I'm at with Ubisoft, where it wouldn't surprise me if that's what they're gearing up for.
But they don't know. They've got no idea. I don't know. It's just unfortunate. I know quite a lot of people over there and a lot of good people, and just the anxiety that those people are experiencing now is just, it must be awful. Just not knowing what's next, right? I don't know. The new subsidiary and stuff is just bizarre in itself. Like 4 billion valuation when the market cap of Ubisoft's at $1 billion, is it? And then, yeah, what goes on with the other? I think there's like 15,000 employees still quotation marks in the air, unaccounted for with what the future holds.
Yeah. Because they have
Yeah.
what, just about 19,000?
Yeah, 18,000, I think it's at the moment.
Yeah, I'm not. I don't know. I'm not looking forward to what's going to happen, but at least this year has been pacing slower for layoffs in the industry than years past. Like, we've only had, according to the numbers, 1,600 known layoffs through 3 months, where at this point last year we were almost at 8,000 at this point.
Wow.
So, progress. And we're going to wrap up on that note. Progress. God, this industry, I love it, but now I'm angry again thinking about what the state of everything is. Tom, where can the people find you if they want to find your red snowmobile?
Just type in Tom Henderson, and if I don't come up, then
You spell it wrong.
If you
then
don't
I've
come
failed.
up, no, if it doesn't come up, he blocked you.
Yeah.
There it is.
Well,
There it is.
yeah, but what it is, right, is I started off as like, I had like bad ethics when it came to leaking and stuff. So I think I've had 6 Twitter accounts. So now it's like _Tom _Henderson _. And it's just too much hassle. So I just type in Tom Henderson, and if I don't come up, then whatever. Just find us at Insider Gaming. All of the good stuff's over there.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Grant, where can everybody find you?
Pretty much anywhere these days, except for Blue Sky. Is Threads still a thing? I don't use Threads. I'm not on there.
That's
I don't know. That's done. Yeah. So X, TikTok, Twitch, everything. Nukov, and again, not the Swedish musical group or whatever they are. I really need to find out what they are so that I can put a bit more context behind that. I promise for the next episode we'll have a more faithful replication of what those guys are and what they do, and maybe we'll even play them for an outro or something.
Oh, there you go.
That's it.
AP, how about you?
Man, I'm everywhere too, pretty much. You can find me over on X at The Weekly Wrap Up. I'm also over on YouTube with my own channel. Follow me there if you want. Subscribe at Weekly Wrap Up. Also on Insta at The Weekly Wrap Up, and also Blue Sky at Albert Perkins. Not that I message or post or anything on Blue Sky, but if you want to follow me there, I'm there.
And you can find me everywhere at Mike Star Media. I am actively on Blue Sky because I like that platform. You know what it doesn't do? Break every 20 seconds. And it's very nice. It's not infiltrated with ads either. It's beautiful. You can find me there. You can find Insider Gaming at Insider Gaming IG on Twitter, at insidergaming.com on Blue Sky. You can find us on youtube.com. Just look up Insider Gaming. We are everywhere. And as always, the latest gaming news you need to know about is at insider-gaming.com. Another tease. I am working on trying to get some new details because there's a lot of people who follow me that like Madden because that's just a popular game. And I am working on some new details of hopefully some early features coming to Madden that I'm trying to lock down within the next week or so. So that's something to look out for. But that's later, not now. AP, we're done here. Take it away.
Oh, you guys know what it is. What a great episode of Insider Gaming Weekly, a video game podcast for Mike, for Grant, and for Tom. I am, of course, your host with the most A to the B, Albert Perkins, and we will see you on the inside.